Let's talk about why silence breeds apathy and how poor communication can destroy trust. We see this happening all the time with brands. So let's talk about it with politics in mind. Welcome back to Serena's Playbook, the place for you to level up your strategic thinking with quite the focus on reputation management and crisis communications. A quick welcome from me and a welcome back to existing subscribers. I am Serena, and I have more than 20 years in the communications and media game. I'm also a content creator, and you are so welcome here, where I really enjoy sharing my strategic solutions, my reflections, especially those garnered from my recent postgraduate endeavor, my master's in science and systems thinking, which I'm absolutely relishing. It's really leveled up my own strategic thinking. So I'm here to share all those lovely nuggets with you. It's autumn. I love it. So let's talk. So here's the thing about communication. When it's absent, people don't just fill like the absent communication gaps, right? The communication gaps, sorry. They don't just fill them with optimism, trust. Instead, what they fill it with apathy, they fill it with doubt, with suspicion, and even hostility. And so when you see people who lead brands, organizations, or even political leaders, when they avoid speaking, when they think they've kind of avoided having to do the uncomfortable, they're not actually just dodging a conversation. They are risking losing their audience altogether. That is the truth. No data is still data. We are all sometimes within sort of a reputational crisis of a brand or a leader or influencer, public figure that we follow. We're kind of noticing things, not just what they're saying and what they're doing. We're looking at what they're not saying and what they're not doing. So let's look at a case study of your party. No, not you, as in your party, the new political party led by Jeremy Corbyn. Recently, your party, the new political party, has faced heavy criticism, not only for their sort of actually, not so much for their policies, because there'll always be somebody to criticize policies, but for how they went about launching their membership, for how they communicated in public in quite a sour way, in a very reactive way. You had infighting between what seems to be the case, infighting between, and this is, I guess, a suspicion between Jeremy Corbyn and Zara Sultana and perhaps others also who are MPs and sort of higher up in the chain of command. And they were projecting it for us all to see, for us all to see. Announcements were muddled, they were contradictory, and sometimes even undermined the very new voice of this brand. Like, this is the early stages of you looking to establish a brand voice. And what have you done? So it's incredibly damaging when you are especially launching something, you're wanting to leave an impression, and you are wanting to start off strong. But there was just so much so-called infighting, and it wasn't just gossip fodder. They are actually putting out statements that contradict one another. And so immediately you could feel that there is no united vision. There is no united front. And there is, sorry, united front, that's unfortunate. There isn't a united leadership. So in PR terms, in public relations terms, this is absolutely the worst combination. It's the lack of clarity, and it's a lack of coherence. There's a lack of leadership. There's just a lack. So why does this really matter in communication, especially if you have done something that's damaging your brand and then you're having to recover? In politics, in business, or your sort of creative industries, your audience is always looking for signs. They're looking for signals of direction, of your conviction as a leader, as a strong brand. They're looking for your conviction. Can you lead them? If you're going to be silent when the going gets tough or when there are tough issues, there will be this sort of perceived almost like we don't care enough to do something. Like, what? Is this indifference? Because your audience are going to think you're being indifferent. So giving this sort of mixed messaging of saying we are this but we're behaving like this, we have made a mistake and we've just put it in text. Hello. Why aren't we getting a selfie of the both of you, of both Jeremy Corbyn and Zara Sultana? Why are we not getting, this is a solution, and subscribe if you like this, but listen, if it's quite problematic for you to come together with a joint statement, at least have a photo taken of you both having a coffee, having a chat. Just a little video waving to the camera and just get back to your chat. Let that speak volumes. Let people think, oh, they are talking. They've been seen speaking. I mean, I know it's a bit spinny, it's a bit of spin, but you've got to, through some way, some measure, get back that confidence that you need in your brand, in your new brand. But no, the result was apathy. It was disengagement. There's a lower member. So sort of the trajectory of membership sort of immediately sort of fell off a cliff, I think. This is my suggestion. It's not a fact. So, first Zara Sultana launches a membership. Apparently that was incorrect and she shouldn't have done it, but she got a lot of signups from that action. And then when they redid it, the trajectory, I mean, it wasn't that accelerated. So then we got a whole series of statements. You would have seen, if you were tuned into this, a whole series of statements from multiple sides, not just both sides, or multiple sides, all having something to say. It was press release bingo. Who's going to put out the best next statement? It was really troubling. And from a PR perspective, I thought, stop. Who's advising you? And so the audience will think you can't even talk to each other. So why should we listen to you? Why should we listen if you're unable to communicate with one another? You've got to learn to do the uncomfortable if you're still listening. I'm loving that you've given your time and attention to this. So thank you so much. Please do consider subscribing. So you've got to do the uncomfortable. And that is when you see strong leaders or leaders that you believe in, they manage to sort of strongly communicate through embracing very difficult conversations. So they can own their mistakes or at least articulate them. They'll be able to repeat back what you've said is the sort of main criticism of them, right? They are able to name the tensions, like articulate it. They won't hide from it. And they can be explicit about what is uncertain or what is still yet to be debated or decided. Bring people along with you. Bring people along with you. Avoiding this, of course, it creates a vacuum, and of course, it creates space for people to continue to doubt, smear, even. And in today's attention economy, vacuums like this, especially in politics, they are filled by critics and conspiracy. You had, I think, the chairman of Reform, Zia Youssef, offering consultancy to help them out. So everyone's watching. And you can't just take your time and allow others to fill these gaps. If you want to keep your audience, if you want to keep your team, if you want to keep your community engaged, you cannot afford to be silent. You cannot afford to be vague. And all this infighting spilling into the public eye, it's just awful. I do talk about how you can think like a PR and be more reputation management ready for your brand, especially if you're building one in public. And I have a free masterclass for you. You can check that out. The link is in the description. But you've got to be clear. You've got to be courageous in your communication. By communicating clearly, you will be able to increase your chances of your audience, segments of your audience leaning in rather than saying, okay, I'm done. I'm done. I'm walking away. Because even you know this even in a sort of a personal life argument or a conversation. If it's going a little bit hairy, but if people are still speaking in calm voices and letting the others sort of speak, listen, and sort of have that sort of discourse, no one's leaving, no one's tuning out. Give your audience and your membership the opportunity, like trust them to engage in whatever fallout that you have, bring them along. It'll be refreshing. It would be refreshing for them to see something that is decided with them in mind. Have the conference, the first, I don't know, 15 minutes of the conference, say, you know what, we welcome your thoughts. We're going to clear the decks and then we're going to go on with what we have planned for you. I I really hope that this resonated with you. I hope that you can take what you can take away from this is that it doesn't matter whether it's politics of or content creation. If you and if your audience are tuning out, then it's that outcome. Like you just cannot afford to have it. So I really hope that I was able to provide you with some nuggets. And remember, check that masterclass out. It is available, it is complimentary. There are many more things available as well in the description, so you can check those out. I'll see you in another weekly tutorial. I know it's been a little bit, tumbleweed here, but I've had a lot going on. And school and sort of no school and the summer period was crazy. And as you know, if you don't know already, I have a 9 to 5, which I enjoy. I enjoy being a practitioner. For any content creators who think you've got to give everything up to do the content creation thing, no, try and align things a little bit more. And I've got lots of videos and playlists about just this, in the sense that if you break things down using my 7 strategic zones of sorry, I was gulping because I was like saying so much in one go. If you align things using my 7 strategic zones of interest, by doing that, you can find new and innovative solutions that somebody would not be able to provide you through this is how you do YouTube or this is how you do TikTok or whatever it is that you're looking for. So find your own unique path and see what works for you and continue to iterate on it. That's the best way to move forward, to grow, to progress. Remember, your situation is unique. Of course, there are some general principles that you can follow, but you've got to get into that reflection zone. That's why I talk about reflexivity in my 7 zones of interest. Reflexivity is a big one. So have some time to reflect so you can join the dots in a unique way for you. Do it in collaboration. My next video will be on the power of collaboration. So look out for that. And in the meantime, have a wonderful weekend or week and enjoy the autumn breeze. I do love it. I just love it. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you in the next one.